Well, again, thank you all for coming. We're super excited to have this digital organizing training, really just a chance to go over the digital tools that AGF provides specifically, as well as some other tactics. So if we can go to the next slide, you can just see what to expect. It shouldn't take more than probably half an hour, I would say. We usually like to get you out early. But yeah, we'll go over My Vote Everywhere, simple texting, petitions, and targeted actions. And a lot of you are probably using all of these or some of these. If you're already using them, there's always more to learn and get inspiration for new ways to use these tools. And if you have not started using these, totally fine. We're hoping that this will help you get started. But we're going to start with the heavy hitter, the AGF kind of signature tool, which is My Vote Everywhere. You've probably all heard us say this many times before, but if you haven't, I know some of y'all are new ambassadors this year, so we're gonna really walk through like what the page looks like. Basically, My Vote Everywhere is your campus-specific web page hosted by AGF to help with everything from registering students to vote to answering questions about upcoming elections and truly everything in between. I think it covers everything you could possibly think of. So Andrew Goodman ambassadors can work with us, the AGF team, to customize the tools and information on your page and set up your unique URL and the buttons that you can see on this screen. These are all going to be screenshots from the actual page, so you can see exactly what it looks like. It's powered by vote.org on the back end. So all of this is, turns into real data that that we can get. And it's a really big tool that we have kind of embedded in the site. So it's very reliable and reputable. So your page can include tools and resources like basic voter registration, requesting an absentee ballot, helping students look up their polling site for their personal address, providing information on the upcoming elections, both dates, who's on the ballot, and answering any other questions about voting. So all of these will link to the best, reputable site, whether that's like the Secretary of State's website for the state that you select. And so it will bring you to whatever information you need. And we're here to help you set up the page, make sure that it stays 501c3 compliant, and even track the data on the back end. So we're always happy to pull the data for you whenever you request it and let you know, how many page clicks you're getting, things like that. And before I go on, I want to mention TurboVote because I know some of you and your campuses use TurboVote, which has some similar offerings to the My Vote Everywhere pages. And for some of you, you might even have administrators kind of higher up the chain who've signed up your campus with a TurboVote subscription, and that is totally fine. I just want to emphasize a couple of reasons why we encourage My Vote Everywhere, not just because it's our tool, but if you go to the next slide, the main highlights, and this is simple just to emphasize, it's free. So that's huge. I know a lot of teams have mentioned, having trouble funding their TurboVote subscription. It's customizable, like I said. So you'll see as we go through the screenshots, but that includes photos, the tagline at the top of the page. You can add a button with your own resources. You can change, you'll see later, there's an explore the issues section. You can choose what issues you want to emphasize there. And the last thing is that it's, again, managed by AGF staff. So if you want to customize or change anything, it's us that you'll be going back and forth with, and not some, not a third party, or, you won't have any trouble making that happen. So that being said, if for whatever reason your team is using TurboVote and wants to continue, that is totally fine. We have lots of teams who are using both, and it's very possible to do that. So there are other ways that you can and should use My Vote Everywhere. And as I walk through what the page looks like, you'll see the other offerings that make it useful, even if it's not your sole voter registration tool. So here, the following slides are going to walk through exactly what the page looks like, using screenshots of active pages from our campus teams right now. So on here, you'll see on the left is the Georgetown page, on the right is St. Lawrence. Both of these teams use their pages quite a bit, and you can see right off the bat that they've customized it a little bit. You can see different background photos. They input their respective campus mascot names, make your voice heard Hoyas, make your voice heard Saints, kind of personalized it. And Georgetown even added a button for their own resources. And this is what you're seeing is the first thing that you see when you open up the page. So if you want to go, all those buttons are kind of self-explanatory, so you can click through those and see what the user experience is like, but those are all kind of the basics of actually figuring out how to vote. This is all in chronological order, so it's a long page that you scroll down, and that's kind of how we're taking you through it. So the next feature on there is signing up to receive text updates about voting. So this is a great tool, and we'll get into this because we also have our simple texting tool, which we'll talk about next, but this is a really great way to get contact information for the folks that you're having interactions with, which lets you follow up with them after. There's a section that gives the related dates and deadlines for the state that your campus is in. But again, if you have students who are voting, in their home state, the buttons will still allow them to go find the respective information for their state. It's not limited to the state your campus is in, but that's the information that will be kind of sitting there on the site like this. The next tool is a pledge to vote tool, which is also super helpful and statistically shown to increase the likelihood of someone following through on casting their ballot. So this is a really great tool for folks to use. And then you can see this how to vote graphic sort of kind of takes through the process from registering to vote all the way through voting. So researching the candidates, researching the ballot, making your plan. So very comprehensive. And you can see above that too, there are little buttons that you can put for following your team's Instagram, or if you have a Facebook, you can add the buttons for other social media platforms as well. So I know a bunch of you have been building up social media presence, which is great. And this is another way to kind of draw foot traffic to your social media sites. Next slide. Thank you. So next there's a spot where you can highlight a resource. So what we have as kind of the standing resource on most of the pages right now is one of AGF Civics for Change articles about the filibuster, but we can swap that out for another article or, blog that you want highlighted on there. Then there's a what's on the ballot. So this link will bring people to, I believe it's Ballotpedia, to find out what exactly your ballot is going to look like, which really breaks down some of the anxiety that folks have before voting. And then this is the explore the issues portion that I had mentioned before. So we know that young folks are often showing up for issues and not for candidates or parties. And these buttons allow people to kind of dig into some of the issues they may care about and take action on them. And this is another one of those spots that you can customize if you want. And then on the right, again, this is for whatever state your campus is in, we have, the current elected officials listed. And then probably my favorite part is that it shows your team. So if you go to the next page, Mia. Oh, actually, it's a little bit later, so no worries. But yeah, so that is basically the entire My Vote Everywhere page. The one thing that comes after this is a Meet Andy section to get to know Andrew Goodman and the story of the Andrew Goodman Foundation, which is really important. We keep that really central to all the work that we do. So If you go to the next page, Mia, the best thing that you can do with My Vote Everywhere is spread it around campus however you can, so anyone who needs it has access to it. As you can see from walking through that, it truly covers everything that people need to know to cast their ballot and breaks down many of the things that serve as barriers, like not knowing where your polling site is, not knowing if you need voter ID. And this is a one-stop shop for all of the information that anyone could need. So you want to get this in front of as many people as possible and take away that barrier of people having to find the right websites and do the research themselves. So one easy way to use the My Vote Everywhere page is to have it up at tables. I know a lot of you do tables and events and are interfacing with people, and having it pulled up on a laptop or having QR codes that pull up the My Vote Everywhere page is a really great way to just get it in front of people. But even better is getting your My Vote Everywhere page housed on the university student portal or as a button on the sidebar of the university's main page. You can get professors to include the My Vote Everywhere link or QR code in their class syllabus, or work with residential life and orientation leadership to include it in every new student packet during move-in. So there's, the face-to-face use of My Vote Everywhere, which is really important, but we also really want to get it ingrained in student life and the university system. So what you see on the screen is just one example. Our team at University of Central Arkansas got kind of a part of their university webpage to focus on voting, and where it says go right there, that links to their My Vote Everywhere page. This is a super cute page with the little, I think those are bears. Yeah, bears to the ballot, of course. So this is really cute. It's very personalized to their campus. And they found a way to get it very centrally. So people will come across this page and generate traffic to it. Another example is our team at University of San Francisco has gotten their My Vote Everywhere page on the top of their Canvas dashboard. So there are a lot of ways to go, and it totally depends on, the tools that your campus uses, what is the kind of academic platform is, or it might take working with your IT department, but it's generally been very possible at a lot of our campuses to get this as in some form, whether it's, a whole page or a little sidebar. And it really goes a long way. And the last thing I want to highlight, which I started to before, is that your My Vote Everywhere page highlights you. So on the next slide, it's down a little bit on your My Vote Everywhere page, but you'll see the headshots and bios for every member of your Andrew Goodman campus team. And these are just two great examples, but look how beautiful it is when you have all of the headshots right there, and it just makes, one, it's good for visibility. Let people see this and know that they can come to you. It looks great. I mean, these are just wonderful teams, and it looks very professional. And it's a great way to shout out your team. So as you begin to use or continue to use My Vote Everywhere, remember to send your headshots and bios to your program manager if you haven't already, so we can make sure that they're not only on our AGF website, but also on your My Vote Everywhere page. And I will pass it to Kaylee.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, my camera's off. My Zoom keeps lagging, so hopefully this will get me through my portion. But the next tool that I wanted to mention is simple texting. So simple texting is available to all of the campuses. And the reason that texting is such an amazing digital organizing tool is because text messages have an average of a 97% read rate within 15 minutes of delivery. And the average click-through rate is 20 to 35%, which is much better than like emails or any other kind of marketing that you'll be doing. So to get started with simple texting, the first thing you'll need to do is to contact your program manager. So that's Gabby, myself, Mia, or Caroline. and let us know that simple texting is something that your team wants to utilize. So then your campus team is going to provide the desired keyword for simple texting. For example, this could be something quick and easy like Bears vote. It's really fun when campuses choose a keyword that matches like their culture or their mascot, and it's really fun and relates to their campus and is easy to remember. Because this is a word that people are going to text to your number to sign up for your campus's texting list. The next step is that your program manager is going to invite somebody from your team to manage your campus's subscriber list. This invite's going to come to the team member's email inbox. Sometimes the email is going to go to the spam folder, so be sure to check there if you don't see it in your inbox at first. On the screen, you'll see the message that you get via email where it says Margaret Sasser invited you to join the Andrew Goodman Vote Everywhere team. And then on the right is where you'll make your account. The invitation email you receive will direct you to create a simple texting account using the email address the invitation was sent to. So if it was sent to your school email address, then you need to create an account with that same email address. Many campuses actually already have simple texting accounts set up. Even if no one on your team knows about it or has access, that's totally fine. That just means that your program manager can assign the subscriber list that already exists for your campus to a different contact that's currently on your team so that you all can manage the list now. Once you're logged in and you've created your account, you will see the homepage. Mia, you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you so much. That's where you're going to be able to create a new campaign. So you'll see under the campaign, it has like the little megaphone right next to it. You'll click that. And then when writing a campaign to your subscriber list, there are a few things you'll want to keep in mind. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. So I know the text is really small on the screen, but hopefully if you zoom in, you can see it. The few things that you'll want to keep in mind, the first thing is that there is a character limit for each of the messages that you send. So each message actually uses a credit. And messages that exceed the 160 character limit require 2 credits to send. And ideally, you'll want to keep all of your messages as to 1 credit so that we can send as many messages to as many people as possible. But if you do need to, for some reason, extend into 2 credits, just talk to your program manager about that, and I'm sure you can figure something out. As you'll see on the screen, the message includes an extra sentence, which is you don't want to miss this election. It's so fun, but it's not totally necessary. It does exceed the character limit, so you could just delete that, and then you'll be well within the 160 credits or characters that you're allowed. Next slide, please. So this message is brief and to the point. It remains within the allotted characters, and that also makes it more likely that someone is going to read the entire message. When it's short, sweet, and to the point, it also includes a call to action. For example, this message directs subscribers to check their voter registration status or register to vote. So those are the things you'll want to keep in mind when sending a message to your list. Make sure it's within the character limit, includes a call to action, and also a hyperlink. When including links in your messages, you have the option to shorten it. So all you have to do that is copy and paste the link you want to include, and then click the little paperclip icon. It's like sideways, so it's a little confusing, but click that icon and then it'll shorten the link for you. So now that you have crafted your message and it's within your character limit, includes a call to action, you're ready to send to your list. So the first thing you'll do is select from the Send To dropdown that you see on the left. That dropdown will include your university's list there. So click that, and then you have a few options when it comes to sending. You can schedule a message to send ahead of time, you can set up recurring messages, or you can send right away. So now that you've completed your first message campaign and you're ready to send, you've either scheduled it for ahead of time or sent it right then, you'll want to advertise your simple texting platform by including your number and keyword. For example, students at UW-Madison would text Badgers vote to 47020, and your campus's number is at the top right-hand corner of your campaign page. That's that 5-digit number that'll be in bold text. Finally, AGF has a great resource, the AGF Ambassador Texting Guide, which covers all of the information I shared today and more. It even has like communication templates, which Mia will share later on in her piece, but that's it for simple texting. I will pass it to Gabby.
Hello again, everyone. I'll just be doing a very quick tidbit on petitions. I'm sure everyone's familiar with petitions. I'm sure you've signed one before about an issue that you felt compelled to put your name under. Um, but the benefits of petitions are that petitions are the most powerful and effective tool of democratized organizing. Petitions show a large number of people advocating for the same issue. So yeah, if a large group of people come together and decide that they want to like make awareness of this issue and sign their name on something and it's sent to the right person, it could make change. So that's why it's important. But how can you set up a petition? I'm not sure if you guys know, but change.org offers free petition making. So you could go on there and complete a few steps to make your own petition about whatever. So I'm gonna go through the steps with you guys. The first step is just writing the first step is just writing a message and request about the change you like to see and why. So this is mainly catered toward choosing your topic. The first step in creating a petition is to choose a topic that's meaningful to you. By choosing a compelling topic with clear steps, you'll set yourself up for a successful petition campaign that earns plenty of signatures. Yes, there has to be a clear ask, a clear need, a clear path of direction. There can't be much confusion because people are going to be like, why does that matter to me? Why should I sign this? Okay. Next, writing a message and request about the change you like to see why. Yes. So the next one is choosing the petition decision maker. So this is important because if you want to see an actual change come from your petition, you have to have a person in charge, a person who can make or break the decision of this petition. So a decision maker is a person in an authority position who has the ability to help implement the change you seek. Change.org will automatically notify your decision maker when a petition is set up and when it gets signatures. So it's important to include the right email address. We're going to get into that later, but let's make sure we're doing our research about who we're trying to make sure we have the right people for the right issue. So we have to go and do our research and make sure we have the right emails, contact information, all of that, so the change can happen the way it needs to happen. Next, asking others to sign your petition. Reach out to all of your networks and exhaust all resources to get as many signatures as possible. This is where like My Vote Everywhere and simple texting come in handy, because if you have like a simple texting account for your campus, it'll be easier for you to just send out the link to the change.org website that you create to get a petition out quicker to all of the people in your network. Or you can do it like the old school way and just stand outside and ask people to sign your petition. But yeah, just exhaust all resources so you can get as many as possible. So all of your networks, all of the clubs that you partner with on campus, all of that. Okay, next, delivering the petition to the recipient. And this is what I meant earlier when I said doing your due diligence. Make sure you have the correct contact information, the correct position of the person that you're trying to reach. Like, there's no point of doing things for no reason. So if you have an issue about something specific and you're in the wrong department, it's not going to get where it needs to get fast enough for you to see it through, or it might become draining for you if you're not getting results. So just make sure you don't make it hard on yourself and you have things correctly the first time. And I'll just give you a few examples of things you can make petitions about. We're not telling y'all to just go make a random petition, but if you feel like you have an issue that a lot of people share a same feeling about around you, then that would be a good time. So a few examples would be like Election Day as a holiday, because on campus that seems like a lot of college campuses struggle with that, not having Election Day as a holiday, having to choose between class and voting at times. A community issue, like if there's a situation on campus that everyone is dealing with, whether it's like a dorm situation or cafeteria or something that's just like inconvenient. Also, a polling site on campus, that's another example of something that is petition worthy. So you guys are tired of having to drive or walk or bike or ride public transportation to your polling site, and you feel that it would be best to have one on campus. And no better way than to start a petition showing students' need for it. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to pass it to Mia. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat.
Thank you, Vanity. The next section of our digital organizing webinar here is targeted actions. And targeted actions are another great way to advocate for change online. And as a national organization, AGF creates targeted actions that are only federal legislation that would either promote voter education or break down some barriers that young people face in voting. And so we do this by providing a quick and easy way to contact your elected officials or share your voice on the issue. Excuse me. Or if you want to advocate on social media, you can use some of the graphics like the ones that you see here. And we use this, we make these using a really nice tool called Canva, which is free and easy to access for just about anyone if you're inspired by any of these. And so some benefits of targeted actions is how we can all be aware of how it's difficult to keep up with, or stay aware of how which is going on in our government. So using targeted actions is a great way to get the word out about pieces of legislation that may not receive a lot of media attention, or to get the information in front of the people who it will impact the most if the legislation is passed or is not passed. And so when we use targeted actions, there are, of course, some limitations. So AGF or Go Everywhere campus teams are only able to promote federal legislation like with the AGF under that umbrella. And of course, we must remain nonpartisan in our language and our advocacy. But if you ever have any questions about this, feel free to consult page 14 of the Ambassador Handbook that has all of the nonpartisan FAQs, or please feel free to reach out to your program manager. So we are currently supporting two of the federal legislation that is pieces that are out right now, the Youth Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. Both of these would reduce many of the common barriers that young people face in voting. So to take action, feel free to check out the Youth Voting Rights Advocacy section and under programs in our website, and or click the links in the chat. And then moving along to our resources for that. The majority of what we have covered of our digital tools today can be reviewed in the digital organizing toolkit listed here on the left. And of course, the simple texting guide that we will soon update to be even more relevant to what's going on for 2024. And of course, and then everything, including these two resources and the Ambassador Handbook, can all be found in the Resource Center on our website. And I will pass it on to all of us if you have any questions about anything that we have covered so far today.
I have a question. With the petitions, we can only create petitions pertaining to voting and civic engagement. You can't use it for other uses.
No, you can use a petition for whatever you want. I was just giving examples about things that like kind of pertain to AGF. But if you have like your own issue on campus, feel free to make a petition about it. Yeah,
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're welcome. Change.org is open to like anyone. So it's not like a partnership we have or anything like that. But we do encourage it because we know that it's there and it's free.
Any other questions? That was a good one.
I have another question pertaining to the website. So there will be like a back end or a back door where we can edit like the customizations and add photos and such like that, or will we have to request that access from you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. So go ahead, Mia.
It's okay. I was just gonna say, it would be more of neither of those, but more requesting what you would like to be changed. So you would just let your program manager, send them a picture you want to have as a cover photo, and then what button you'd like to add, what link is attached with it, and we can get that uploaded for you.
All right, thank you, Mia.
Thank you for the great questions.
That's a good segue to just remind you all that basically for all of this, any next step could just be reaching out to your program manager and asking for follow-up or expressing interest in any of this. I know it's a lot of information. You don't have to have memorized it, or, you know, there's not like one clear answer of where to go from here, just if any of this sparked your interest, just, you know, reach out and we can take it from there, because a lot of this is easier to do as kind of a one-on-one thing, and we just wanted to give you the information of what we can provide. Especially simple texting is something that we'll actually have to set up with you. The My Vote Everywhere pages, all of those exist already, so you all have one whether you've been using it or not. So that might just be a question of finding your page, and we can help you with that as well. But if you're overwhelmed or not sure what to do next, you can just talk with your team, talk with your program manager, and that's a great next step.